Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 23 of 100 days of my. I'm sorry, my brain is like not functioning. It's day 23 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on myself. There we go. Gotcha. Like, not focusing on myself, celebrating myself. Oh my gosh. Seriously, I already did focusing on today. That was 100 days of focusing on today. Now I'm doing 100 days of celebrating myself. And I can't even figure out what I'm doing for my video. So I apologize for that. This is one of those ones I should just delete and start over, but I'm not going to. Because I'm celebrating myself and who I am. And so I'm just going to put that in my videos, however it comes out, so you guys can just see who I am. Me and all my crazy that I celebrated yesterday. That was so fun. And it's still in my hair. You can totally see that now. Anyway, brain needs to function. So today I decided to celebrate being a woman. It seemed like a little kind of an odd thing, but it was kind of a thought that popped into my head. Because there was a time in my life when I wasn't grateful for being a girl or being a woman. I remember telling my biological mom that I was never going to start periods. I was never going to wear bras. I was never going to do any of those things. And I ended up having to wear larger bra sizes. I think God had kind of a sense of humor, or maybe he was just reminding me or trying to teach me that being a woman is a blessing and not a curse, and it is a gift, and this is the way that he designed me and made me, and I need to learn to appreciate it and be grateful for it. And it's taken me years to accept my body and to be comfortable with who I am. Granted, I know right now I'm like overweight and I'm totally out of shape, so I do need to remedy those things, but eventually, if I ever get around to it, little diet and exercise change in lifestyle would probably benefit myself quite a bit. But I'm okay the way that I am, and I'm not gonna like stress about that right now. I've got so many other things to deal with that that's like not my highest priority. Maybe it should be, because my body is something I need to take care of in order to do everything else that I need to do. So anyway, back to just being a woman. I just know that growing up, I didn't want to be, and I tried to hide my body. I always wore big, huge, baggy shirts, and it's hilarious because I have these big, baggy shirts that fit me now, but they definitely didn't fit me when I was like in junior high or high school. And my daughter was wearing one of them yesterday. I told her to put it on, like either over what she was wearing or in lieu of what she was wearing, because I needed to, because I didn't want the hair dye to get all over her shirt. She's like, it's black, it won't matter. And I'm like, yeah, it might show up anyway, because you never know, blue will show up on black, especially the color in her hair. So did it in a blue shirt, but it's a shirt that had paint on it and other stuff. It's a shirt that I had in girls camp when I was like, I don't know, somewhere between 12 and 17 probably. And so I'm like, and most of what was the design that was on it is kind of peeled off and faded. I can't remember the words and other things like that. I think it was a rainbow, and it had the young women values in them that are totally different now than when they were when I was growing up. So and it's all faded and a bunch of other things, and she seems to like that shirt. And I'm like, it's a shirt she can wear to bed. It's a shirt she can wear to like get paint on or to get dirty in, and it doesn't matter what happens to that shirt. So I'm like, you're gonna have the shirt anyway. But I wore big, huge, baggy shirts like that because I didn't want anybody to know that I was wearing bras or that I was in doubt, had boobs or whatever. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. I hope only adults are watching this video. Hopefully only girls, because that's, slightly embarrassing. But I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed of my body. I was embarrassed of being a girl. And I think a lot of it had to do with my biological dad, because he would always tell me that I couldn't do things because I was a girl. And and he used the fact that I was a girl to abuse me. And he told me he had to because I was a girl. And that just, it just always felt wrong. It made being a girl feel wrong to me. And being hugged and touched all felt wrong too. And And anytime I told them I wanted to do something when I grow up, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. It's like, oh, you can't do that. You're a girl. Girls can't do that. Girls can't do that. I'm like, but my mom did that. And he was like, well, that's different. You can't do that because you're a girl. I was like, seriously? Like, it was anything I wanted to do, anything that I was excited about doing is I can't do it because you're a girl. And it wasn't that I can't do it. It was totally gender biased, basically. My biological dad was very, very much that way. Very, not even gonna get into that. Seriously. I'm not gonna bring myself down with that. But he clearly has his issues and took them out on me and my siblings. Um, and so I didn't like my body. And then, of course, I ended up engaged to a guy that was addicted to pornography and married to one. And it just, um, dealing with men that don't appreciate women, that don't know how to treat them with respect, that don't respect their bodies. And I wasn't taught to respect my body. I wasn't taught how to use my body, to appreciate my body. Or even to appreciate the fact that I was a woman or the gifts that come with being a woman. The ability to be a mother is not, I mean, I'm a stepmom, but I don't have any biological children. But I think every time that time of the month comes around, I used to hate it. But still not a fan. Not a fan. But it makes me grateful because it means that I can still have biological children. Hopefully, I need a man for that. Um, but it just reminds me that I am also a daughter of God, and I can respect myself and respect other women. And as women, we have a great deal of power and influence over the world and over men and over our children, far more than I think we realize. And sometimes I think in society today, I think we've some women have just taken it to the extreme where they're just like doing everything the man can do because they feel like they've been oppressed. And so they just take over. And then the men feel like they don't have a job or a place in life. And then they just don't do anything. And it's like, we as women need to stand up and say, hey, I'm a woman. I need to be respected. You're supposed to be taking care of me and helping me. And we're supposed to help and boost each other up. We're not, just take advantage of each other. And I've been on that side of being the woman and being oppressed and being taken advantage of. But I also grew up hearing a song called I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. I am woman. I don't remember the rest of the song, and I'm pretty sure I got the tune wrong. But I don't even remember who sings it. But it's I am woman, hear me roar. And I don't remember the rest of it, but it's about self-esteem and standing up, and I can do things, and you can't hold me down. And my biological mom chose to get divorced in a time, in a place where we were growing up that it was not a common thing to do, and there was not a lot of support. But she was like, I'm going to do it. And she had the option to, move back to where my grandmother was and to let someone else take care of her. And she's like, oh no, I'm going to do this. I'm a woman. I can do this. I can take care of my family. And I appreciate that a lot more now as an adult than I did growing up. And I appreciate being a woman and the gifts that I have with that, the added compassion, the added emotions that drive myself crazy, because I know I'm emotional and crazy, as most women are. But it's, I can express those emotions more now. I still struggle with that. I'm being honest, but I'm doing better. And at least I'm learning to be grateful for the wide range of emotions and compassion and love that I have for other people, and that capacity that comes from being a woman, and to the gift of motherhood that comes from being a woman. And I realize there's single dads and there's single moms and all of that other stuff, but women are mothers and dads are fathers, and you can't really replace one or the other. You can't in a child's life. And I am grateful that I can be a mom. And last night when I was working after all of this, I was having a conversation with someone, and she was we were talking about stuff, and then I mentioned something that kind of gave away my age. She's like, I bet you're a really cool mom. And I'm like, thanks. And then I told her that I dyed my hair with my daughter. She's like, oh man, that's like even Even better. Sorry, hair on my nose. That's what I get for playing with my hair. I shed too, but it reminded me of that, and it just makes me grateful that I can be myself, and that I am a woman, and there's nothing wrong with being a woman. And I really am grateful to be learning that there's nothing wrong about being a woman. There's nothing wrong about how God made me or about the body that I have. I mean, it's overweight and out of shape. There's nothing wrong with my gender. Um, and I'm really grateful for that. And I'm grateful to be able to learn and to understand it and to recognize that I was just being shamed or controlled um, by other people, manipulated as well because of my gender. And I allowed it because I didn't know better, because that's what I grew up with. And now I know better, and I don't have to allow that, and I don't have to do that, and I don't have to be ashamed of who I am, and I don't have to be ashamed of being a woman. I don't have to hide the fact that I'm a woman. I can wear clothes that actually fit me, and I can, I can be like, this is who I am. This is what I got. What you see is what you get. And it's okay. And it's a part of who I am. And it shouldn't be something to be ashamed of, something to hide from, something to try to change to be something else or someone else. And I I look at the world and people that are so confused or that just don't understand. And all these questionnaires, I do random surveys online, and they have like at the end of them, they're like, in case you want, just trying to get demographics basically for the surveys. And then they're like, they ask the gender, and then they're like, what gender were you like assigned at birth, and what gender are you now, and what gender do you? I'm like, you do realize there's two genders, right? There's male and female. And occasionally there's some rare anomaly where the body doesn't develop right, but there's still basically male and female. There's not there's not something in between. And just because you do more things that I don't understand. I'm like, you can't just change your gender. Even if you have some random surgery, you're still the same gender you were born with. You still have all the same internal parts. They can't be changed. They cannot surgically be changed. You cannot surgically implant a woman to a man. And you cannot surgically implant male parts into a woman either. It doesn't work that way. You can't change the way that God made you. That's how you were made. And it just, things like that, just, it doesn't make sense, but it's all over the place. And, I, but I understand the confusion, and I understand the shame of being a certain gender if you're abused or mistreated or manipulated, controlled because of your gender. I had that happen to me, and I just hated being a woman. I hated being a girl. I'm like, but I always wanted to be a mom, and I always wanted to have children. So I kind of had the part of being a woman because I wanted to be a mom and a mother, and the part of being a woman that I hated because I didn't like the periods, and I didn't like the ogling looks from men, especially when I was a kid. and the abuse and the controlling, and I didn't like feeling like I was wrong because I wanted to do things or because I felt differently than the way I was being treated. And I thought it was something wrong with me, something wrong with being a girl, something wrong with my gender. And I'm grateful that I don't feel that way anymore, that I know that the other person was wrong, and that was abuse and mistreatment, and that there's nothing wrong with being a woman. There's nothing wrong with having the body that I have and being who I am. And I'm really grateful for that, and I'm really proud of the fact that I'm a woman, and nobody can take that away from me. And I would never want to do anything to give that up at this point in my life. I know there were times in my life, honestly, there were times in my life when I thought about the whole breast reduction, or if I ever got breast cancer and they wanted to remove them, I'd be like, sure, go for it, because I don't want them. But I don't feel that way anymore. And I feel like the more that I get to know myself, and the more I recognize the gifts that God has given me, I realize that this is how I I was meant to be. And there is power in being a woman. There's a power in being myself and being comfortable with myself and not letting someone else make me feel bad or feel wrong about who I am, because no one has the right to do that. And I'm really grateful that I have learned that. Granted, it's taken several years, lots of counseling, lots of 12-step stuff, and some of these videos too. But I have been working on myself. I have been working to accept myself and to see myself the way that God sees me, and to see the design that He created, and it's beautiful. And He meant for me to be a beautiful woman, beautiful, emotional, crazy, fun, all the weird things that I am getting to celebrate about myself. And and being a woman is one of them. And it's one of those amazing gifts and blessings. And it's also what makes me a daughter of God, and a precious daughter of God. I always like to add that, because I think girls are the most precious and they have the most power. And um, sometimes I don't think we realize how much power we have. I know I don't realize how much power I have being a woman. And I often give that power to other people, or allow other people to take my power. I just, because I think sometimes I'm just afraid of it, or I just don't know what to do with it, or I just feel like, okay, someone else is in control now. I don't have to do it anymore. But every time I give up my power to someone else, my life becomes a mess. It turns into shambles. So I need to learn not to give that up anymore. It doesn't belong to anyone else. It belongs to me, and it's a gift from God. And I am grateful for that gift, and I am grateful that I can be a woman, and I am grateful for who I am. And I feel for people that don't understand that don't, or that struggle with their identity as to who they are or what they're supposed to be. And we live in a crazy world that's telling even kids to, try to be something other than they're not, give them options that don't even actually exist. And it's so confusing. It really is. And I feel really bad for them. I even feel bad for my daughter. And I've tried to have conversations with her, but she's very adamant. So I'm like, okay, but I'm like, you're too young to even understand the conversations you're having. But it's life, because she's decided that she has to be a certain way, and I don't think that she is, but I think she just needs time to figure that out for herself, and I hope that she doesn't get stuck doing that. But having all of that confusion and all of that emotion, I mean, life is hard enough as it is without adding all the confusion about what gender you are, or what gender you're attracted to, and all of those other things. It's like, oh my gosh, I wish we would celebrate who we are and what we have, and the gifts that we have, regardless of what gender we are, and that we understand why we have different genders, why there's male and women, and what our roles in life are supposed to be. Because, women are meant to grow up to be mothers, and men are meant to grow up to be fathers. Whatever kind they want to be is up to them. How they choose to live their life is up to them. But I just don't fully understand all of it. So don't hate me. Please don't hate me. If you disagree with my comments, that's entirely up to you. These are my feelings. These are my beliefs. And it's taken me a long time to be comfortable with being a woman. And I'm grateful to be comfortable with being a woman. I've never been attracted to other women, but been very afraid of men, not trusting men because of how I've been treated by them. Still struggling with that one. Still struggling with that one. It's I want a husband, I want to have biological children, but I have trust issues with men because of how I've been treated. And it's because I have not understood my power as a woman. I have not understood the gift of being a woman. And I have felt that because I was a woman, it gave men the right to control me, because that's what my biological dad did. And he always said that he had to do things because I was a girl, or that I couldn't do things because I was a girl. And so I've just carried that thought process, and I've been attracted to men that treat me that way. And so I'm learning to not allow myself to be treated that way, to demand the respect that I deserve, um, and also to realize that it's just that individual person's thoughts and actions that I don't like or approve of. It doesn't apply to all men in general. That's not how it works. I had a conversation with someone once, and they didn't like the church because of some guy that they were engaged to that belonged to the same church that I do, and he was very controlling and said a whole bunch of things. And I'm like, you do realize that that was his personal beliefs and ideals. It's not what the church actually teaches. And she's like, yeah, that's true. She did give me that one. But of course, that's tainted her opinion of my personal religious beliefs. And I'm like, that's fine. Everyone has their free agency and their choices. And I'm not trying to tell other people how to think or how to believe or how to feel. I am just trying to celebrate how I feel as a woman and how grateful I am to be a woman and to know that it's taken me a long time to be grateful for that. It was not something I looked forward to turning into a woman as a little girl. It wasn't something I enjoyed. It was something I dreaded. It was something I hid. It was something I sometimes wished wasn't true. But I also felt that other people in my life, mostly my biological dad, would have preferred if I would have been a boy, and or that my life would have been easier if I was a boy. But I'm also realizing that a lot of the things that happened to me have made me who I am, and it's taken a lot of strength and courage to get to where I'm at and to realize that I do have power, I do have a voice, and it's amazing, and it's amazing to be a woman. It's an amazing gift. It's an amazing blessing, and I'm grateful that I can celebrate that about myself now, in spite of what I grew up with, where I came from, and I'm just grateful for my gift, and I'm grateful for who I am, and I'm grateful for the things that I get to learn to celebrate about myself, including about being a woman. And I feel bad, and I feel for those people that are confused about their identity or their gender, or who are made to feel bad or shamed because of who they are, or who they feel like they should be. And I don't want to be one of those people. I don't. But I also am not going to change my beliefs as to what I believe. So anyway, that's kind of what I have. I hope it's not too random and confusing. It's just my brain just goes off on random tangents. It's one of those things that I think I feel very strongly about because I've been through a lot of things. I'm not the same as everyone else. I know my struggles are different than other people's, but I am grateful that I can be grateful to be a woman and to celebrate that today. So that's my random tangent. Hope it wasn't too whatever. Anyway, if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else, or don't if you don't want to. That's okay too. And I hope you find ways that you can celebrate yourself and things that are wonderful about yourself. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude and maybe do some writing.